Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Blackout tutorial. In today's video we're going to be talking about how to win more games, get higher kill games, and just generally do a lot better in Blackout. My experience with Battle Royales has gone back since early H1Z1, which is a couple of years ago. I've got about 3,000 hours experience in Battle Royales, and I've got about 20 solo wins in Blackout. That's normally what I focus on. So hopefully my tips will help you guys in solos, duos, and squads, and should help you guys get more kills, play more aggressively, and hopefully get more wins in Blackout. First of all, as always, smash a like in the video if you do enjoy, turn on post notifications, and subscribe if you guys do want to see brand new videos on Blackout every single day. And without further ado, let's get into tip number 1. So as you guys might have seen and probably know by now, you can spawn in a lot faster if you jump a lot earlier on the plane. So instead of waiting until you're right above an area and going straight down, you should jump super early. It's hard for me to give you a distance, but normally if you jump like a few seconds after the plane starts to release players, if you jump really early, go down until you reach about 65 kilometers per hour, look straight up and then go horizontally across the map to the place that you want to go to, and as you start to approach the area then go straight down. That will get you in a lot quicker and it will give you obviously a much better chance of getting loot and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys notice that people are spawning in really quickly, that's pretty much how they're doing it. They're jumping super early, and you do move a lot faster than the actual helicopter whenever you're doing that. So let's talk about the early game spawning in, and pretty much like my best areas to spawn for kills and all that kind of stuff, and different types of strategies that you guys can do. For me, the best places to spawn is the train station. Firing range is my #1 place to spawn. If the plane's going directly over Nuketown, jump there, you'll get a ton of people. In Nuketown you want to go underground because that's where all of the best loot is in Nuketown. Also in Nuketown, in the back of the red truck, there is one of the military crates that spawns there sometimes. The military crates, the equipment boxes, and the medical boxes, they all spawn in the same locations all the time. There's only a certain amount of locations that they spawn. So you guys might have heard this in other tutorials, and I do agree. Try to learn an area and try and master an area so that you can spawn there pretty much every single game, know where to look for loot, and you can obviously master that type of area and get really good at killing there. But for me, those would be the main areas. Definitely Nuketown, firing range, sometimes raid if it's a close spawn. Raid can be very good. Nuketown, Rivertown, firing range. Asylum is also a very good area to go because it's got the zombies, the mystery box, and a lot of people like to go there and try and contest for the level 3 armors and all that kind of stuff. It can be a very good strategy if you're going for a low kill win to try to go to Asylum, try to go to the diner, try to go to the lighthouse, or try to go to the boxing gym, which all are zombie areas and allow you to get looted up, and then you can pretty much, you know, take it easy for the rest of the match. I would definitely prioritize those areas. If you're spawning in firing range or Rivertown, the farm area is definitely a good place to hang out because it's such a big crossroads. It's right in the middle of the map. You'll get people coming in from, for example, Array and maybe Nuketown. You get people coming from like the train station, you get people coming from Rivertown, you get people coming from all of the surrounding areas towards that farm area. So if you get your kills in firing range or Rivertown or the train station, go to that area and then pick off people as they come through the middle of the map. That is normally my strategy at the beginning. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's talk about, you know, exactly what you would want to do whenever you spawn in. So let's say you choose firing range as your spawning location. Obviously you jump really early, get down early. The first thing obviously you want to do is get a gun, right? If you can prioritize some kind of an armor, you know, backpack, you know, grab as much as you can in the first building that you go to. I normally go to the west side of firing range where it's got all of the tires around it. There's a couple of towers. It's right beside the big blue building as well on the little hut. I would normally spawn in that roof with the American flag on it. It's got the holes in the roof, the green building. Go in there, get my loot, and get straight on the roof. That's my #1 tip for winning fights early on. If you can get onto a roof, especially where people don't expect you to be, and just pick people off in the surrounding locations with high ground, that's a huge advantage. The same type of thing works in raid as well. And not so much in Nuketown. It definitely works in the train station, going up to the roof of the main building in the train station, or on top of the carts. People just don't really expect you to be on the roof as much. People are obviously scavenging for loot on the ground, and running about looking for people, so you will get a huge advantage by doing that. Speaking of roofs, what you want to do is, we're going to talk about equipment a little bit later in the video, but you want to prioritize taking a grapple hook. If you can get a grapple hook, even if you get 3 of them, take all 15 of them, dude. They're going to help you a lot for getting out of gunfights, just for getting up on roofs, shooting people through roofs that they think you can't even get onto, which normally you can't. Putting yourselves in those types of positions where people, you know, don't normally expect you to be there, that's going to give you a huge advantage, whether it be on the top of little sheds, whether it be on the top of a gas station, on top of a roof that you don't normally go onto. That will give you a huge advantage. The element of surprise and high ground will win you a lot of gunfights early on and throughout the match. Normally if I spawn in and get a gun straight away and I hear people spawning around me, the first thing I do is literally run straight out and rush them, because people like don't necessarily always go for early kills in Blackout. You guys might have noticed it's a bit of a campy game in all honesty. I think people camp more than PUBG, which is saying something. So if you can get the element of surprise, get the jump on people, kill them before they even have a chance to do anything, before they consume armor, before they take stuff that you could possibly use yourself, and obviously get another person out of that area, that is going to benefit you guys a lot. So honestly, grab a gun and just jump straight out the window. Don't mess about looting the entire building. If you know somebody's like 2 doors down, grab a gun and go straight to them. Try to get the jump on them. If you can, prioritize the SG-12 automatic shotgun, because that gun will win you a lot of gunfights through the beginning of the game, and even at the end of the match. A little bit later in the video we will talk about what guns I think is best and the ideal loadouts, and the different type of loadouts you guys can run to play to your different playstyles and stuff like that. But let's first of all talk about armor. I want to explain to you guys how armor works in Blackout. Credit to Drifter, if you guys might have seen his video already, he covered armor in a video, so I'm taking this information directly from him, so thank you to him for, you know, investigating everything and putting the work in. I do appreciate that. According to his video, armor's got 275 HP. Level 3 armor is 50% reduction in damage with reduced damage to the head, which is unlike the other armors. Reduced armor to explosives and fire. So level 3 armor is very, very unique in that respect. It takes a lot of shots to kill people. You break the armor at the same amount of time as you would a normal armor. Obviously they can take a lot more shots because it's a 50% reduction, and obviously 9bangs, molotovs, grenades and all that kind of stuff have a reduced effect on the level 3 armor. Level 2 armor has 40% reduction and level 1 armor has 30% reduction. If you guys want to try to get level 3 armors, the best place that you guys can go is once again one of the 4 zombie areas: the boxing arena, the diner near Nuketown, Asylum, in the actual asylum itself, or in the graveyard next to it, and the lighthouse. Those are the places where the zombies spawn. So if you can just take out a bunch of zombies, you will most of the time get a level 2 or level 3 armor out of those boxes. Also, if you look for the little boxes that spawn around the map, which include upgraded weapons, trauma kits and all that kind of stuff, they often spawn level 3 armors. Finally, you can sometimes get them randomly on the ground, and you get them in airdrops as well. I've noticed a lot of people don't go for airdrops in Blackout, so this may be a strategy for you guys to go for. Whenever you hear the announcer calling an airdrop in, you guys have to realize that a lot of people are just camping and are too scared to go for the airdrop. So I feel like at this stage in Blackout, in October, the 22nd of October, around this time in the Blackout's life cycle, going for airdrops is not all that dangerous compared to PUBG, H1Z1, and other games where they're very heavily contested. I feel like the players in Blackout are a little bit more new to the Battle Royale genre, and they are a little bit too scared to go for airdrops a lot of the time. Tips around airdrops is definitely if you can pull up a vehicle to the airdrop before looting it, to give yourself some kind of a cover and an easy getaway. That would definitely help a lot. Even popping down a smoke grenade or having paranoia will definitely help you loot airdrops safely. Once again, you don't want to mess around too long, and do not, under any circumstances, unless it's literally landing like in front of you and you've got nobody in front of you, absolutely do not loot the airdrops at the end, because if there's a good player in your game, they're going to be aware of it and you're going to get absolutely melted off the airdrop. This is a little bit of a random tip, but the airdrops can be used for cover as well. I've actually won a game. I might try to show you guys a clip of me winning a game because the airdrop was sitting right in front of me. I was in an area with no cover and I was kind of dancing around the airdrop. Even putting down one of the guardian shields at the airdrop as you're looting it, you know, doing something to eliminate the possibility of getting shot off it is 100% a good idea. It is a good place to go for level 3 armor. I've noticed, which I'm not really a big fan of, you get more level 3 armor in airdrops towards the end of the match. Obviously it's more dangerous to go for it, but I feel like it's more likely to get a level 3 armor, so whenever you find that last guy who's got a level 3 armor, there's a chance he's probably got it out of an airdrop. So like I said, under no circumstances go for it if it's like out in the middle of nowhere. If it's safe to do so, you know, try to take all measures necessary not to die getting an airdrop. It really is not worth it. But anyway, moving back on to which armors you should take, depending on the health of your armor. So if you've got a level 3 armor and it's roughly 60% health, it's pretty much the equivalent of a level 2 armor. If you've got a level 2 armor, which is roughly about 60% health, it's about the equivalent of a level 1. Obviously you might want to keep a level 3 armor because it's got the head protection, instead of swapping it out for a level 2. So I would say if your level 3 armor is about 50%, swap it out for level 2. And once again, if it's about 50% on a level 2, 50 to 60% on a level 2, swap it out for a full level 1. Because of the 275 health points, you know, mathematically speaking, having a full level 1 armor is better than having half a level 2 armor. It actually can be a good idea to use the looter perk early on to look for armor if you're struggling to find it. And even if it's towards the end of the match, maybe using the looter perk could help you a lot if it's a safe zone that's ending in a big area like the airfield, or if it's ending in the construction area or something like that. Maybe having looter at the end of the match looking for an armor may not be a bad idea as well. Okay, so that seems like a pretty good place to start talking about perks and equipment and what stuff you should prioritize towards the middle, the beginning, and the middle and the end of the match. The beginning of the match, I would want to prioritize awareness, especially if you're spawning in like firing range. Having awareness, dead silence, lightweight, and even stuff like looter is definitely good perks to go for at the beginning. Towards the middle and the end of the match, I think the perks that you should prioritize would definitely be, once again, awareness, lightweight. Skulker is a very good perk. It allows you to crouch around at almost full speed, and pretty much you crouch around like crazy. One tip with Skulker is don't combine it with Dead Silence, because Skulker makes you pretty quiet anyway. If you did it with Dead Silence, you would be probably absolutely silent. But as you guys know, the sound system's pretty broken in Blackout. So even though you can hear your own footsteps using Skulker, people around you probably won't hear you because of how low footsteps are in general. So I would say try not to waste perks by combining them too much, unless it's the right combination. A good combination to use would be like lightweight, awareness, and dead silence. That's a great combination to use. Or using Skulker, dead silence, and awareness. Once again, don't waste your lightweight and don't waste your dead silence in combination with Skulker, because they do pretty much the same thing. Reinforced is a perk that's definitely being slept on. If you can, try to keep a reinforced until the end of the match, and try and keep a trophy system until the end of the match, because as you guys have probably seen already, people like to spam the overpowered broken 9-bangs, flash grenades, molotovs, grenades, and Semtex grenades. So if you have like a trophy system, like let's say for example if you're camping on top of a building, throw down a trophy system. If you're sniping people or whatever, throw down the trophy system and, you know, pop on reinforced whenever you're staying or holding down a location, because it means if people try to breach you, you know, they can't just get an easy kill by throwing a grenade or throwing a 9-bang at you. You've got those perks to protect you. So definitely, like on the move, you want to be using, like I said, the sound perks. Whenever you're holding a location down, you want to be going for things like reinforced. Even the perk that allows you to see vehicles and equipment, you know, stuff like that can be very helpful if you're breaching buildings. You know, if you want to see if people are coming in the distance, you can see vehicles moving around. So depending on your playstyle, those are the perks that you should prioritize. Lightweight is very, very slept on, because being able to jump faster, mantle faster, get to the safe zone quicker. If you get stuck out of the safe zone, the Outlander perk allows you to take less damage from the safe zone and also run faster. In combination with lightweight, that is pretty huge. So if you spawn in, let's say Raid is a good example, or Estates I should be calling it. For some reason the safe zone never goes there. Pretty often you're always going to the safe zone. If you can take a Highlander perk, take it when you're there. You kind of have to prioritize them. Perks that I would not really bother with would be like the healing perk, unless it's in squads where it allows you to revive people faster. Consumer is pretty useless as well. Overall for equipment and perks, you want to be prioritizing obviously 9-bangs, try to get 2 9-bangs, flash grenades, Semtex grenades, the grapple hook, the motion dart, which you can be used in a couple of different ways. You can either use your motion dart, let's say you spawn in one of those high population areas, put down your motion dart and that'll allow you to go freely in and out of buildings, and it'll give you a mini UAV. It's very, very useful at the start. My school of thinking after playing a lot of BR is use it or lose it. Don't be holding on to things that could save your life now instead of trying to save them for later. Things like trauma kits, don't wait until you're weak. Use a trauma kit as soon as you find it. The boost from 150 health to 200 health will save your life a lot. Using things like a motion dart, and the very, very early, if you get a motion dart like right at the beginning, you know, put it straight down and see exactly where everybody is around you, which once again will help your strategy of just getting in people's faces, stopping them from looting, interrupting everything, and it allows you to play more strategically. Once again, I want to reiterate that the sound is absolutely broken in the game. Using a motion dart in a place like firing range will definitely allow you to get out of there a lot more safely. Once again, with the grapple hook, you know, using it to get away from gunfights, or using it to get onto a roof which you ordinarily wouldn't go onto, or even for rushing somebody who's on a roof camping, it's the element of surprise with that. It's probably one of the best pieces of equipment in the game. So those are my tips and tricks around equipment. Like I said, Semtex grenades, flash grenades, 9-bangs, Semtex grenades. Always try to prioritize lightweight, awareness, and dead silence over anything else in terms of perks. Reinforced, try to keep one for the end of the match. Try to keep a trophy system for the end. And like I said, don't hold on to things. Try to use them or lose them. You know, try to loot bodies for those grenades, and do try to bring some of them with you at the end, because they will definitely win you matches. Okay, I want to give you guys some tips and tricks for shooting. First of all, you guys should be playing multiplayer. Even if you bought Blackout, even if you bought Black Ops 4 only for Blackout, you have to play multiplayer. The reason I say this is you have to get good at shooting. In Call of Duty, you die so quickly, even with armour. If people are going for headshots, if people are just very good at shooting, you have to get better at that. Whether it's only for 10 minutes a day, if you play one game of multiplayer, the thing you have to consider is, if you play a TDM, you can get 20, 30, 40, 50 kills, depending on how good you are. That's pretty much the equivalent of probably, like, you know, if you're a very, very good player, like 3 or 4 solo games, which is a total of about 2 hours pretty much. So in like one 10-minute team deathmatch, you get the same amount of kills as you would get in about 5 or 6 games traditionally in Blackout, depending on what sort of player you are. So playing a bunch of multiplayer before you hop into a solo of Blackout will definitely help you get warmed up, and hopefully will stop you from getting outgunned a lot of the time. A few tips for shooting is jump shot whenever you can. Jump shooting is very accurate in Blackout, so I do recommend that a lot. If you're in a close range fight and you're starting to get it a little bit close, if the person's starting to outgun you, a jump shot can be the thing that wins it for you. Especially if you're aiming at their body or aiming at their legs and you jump up and end up hitting headshots or upper body shots, that can be the difference in winning fights. Drop shotting does not work very well, but sometimes crouching and sometimes drop shotting can be the difference between winning a fight. I wouldn't say proactively drop shot a lot, but it definitely helps a lot. Sometimes aiming down sights, shooting, and then strafing and shooting again, or using hipfire in the process of strafing and repositioning, that can help you a lot as well. And once again, you know, even if somebody looks like they're an easy kill, if you're running up behind somebody, if you've got a 9-bang equipped, just throw a 9-bang at them and kill them. It really is the easiest way to... It really is the easiest possible way to kill somebody in any game I've ever played in my life. Just throw a 9-bang. They can't change stance, they can't move, they can't see, they can do nothing. So throw a 9-bang, throw a flash, do whatever it is that you can do to stop them in their tracks and get the easy kill. So in terms of shooting people from distance, the scopes I'd recommend honestly is, if you're using an assault rifle, do not probably go beyond a 2x scope. I would recommend only using a 4x scope or 3x scope for something like an auger DMR, a KN, any weapon that uses 7.62 ammo, 50 cal ammo, or 338 ammo. I would recommend using 4x or sniper scopes for those. But for your 5.56 weapons, SMGs, and more close range oriented weapons, I would not go beyond a 2x scope. The reason being is because the bullet drop differs between those weapons, and obviously the recoil differs a lot as well. So to give you guys an example, with a red dot sight, there's much less idle sway, there's much less, you know, the gun's not rocking about as much. Whenever you scope in Call of Duty, your gun's swaying around everywhere, so the more magnified your scope is, pretty much it gives you more recoil, makes it really hard to win fights up close, and honestly doesn't really help you that much at range unless you're very accurate, and if the person's being pretty mobile, you're not going to win a lot of fights with like an ICR 200 meters away with a 4x scope. Another thing worth considering is the 5.56 weapons have more bullet drop, so whenever people are a little bit further away, you have to shoot above their head. If you put on a suppressor, there's even more bullet drop. So if you're shooting people from far away, prioritize a KN, an auger DMR, SDM, which I think is probably one of the best weapons in the game right now. Even a Rampart can be good at range because it's got the 7.62 class, LMGs, you guys get the general idea. So pretty much SMGs have a lot of bullet drop, 5.56 weapons have a little bit less bullet drop, 7.62 have a little bit less, 338 have next to no bullet drop, and then 50 cal has no bullet drop pretty much. So if you're using, for example, a Koshka sniper, there is very little bullet drop. You very rarely have to compensate for it. If people are at extreme distances, you probably shouldn't be trying to kill them from that far away anyway. You should try to close the gap a little bit more, but there may be a tiny bit of bullet drop with, for example, a Koshka. If you're aiming at them with a Paladin, you always aim straight for the head, and you know, obviously you can get their armor if you kill them with a headshot. That is the unique thing about the 50 cal, you don't have to worry about bullet drop, and the bullet speed is a little bit faster. So how bullet speed affects the game is pretty much whenever somebody's running from left to right, you have to shoot in front of them to the right. So it's not like traditional Call of Duty where you shoot straight on somebody all the time and it's hit scan. It is completely projectiles in Blackout. So if you do see somebody running at a distance, just put your dot in front of them and just tap fire at people in the distance. You don't want to like fully spray it too much. You can send off little bursts of about 5 or 6 bullets or whatever. But traditionally you don't want to completely fully auto spray somebody. I mean, you can do if you've got them down to one shot and you're struggling to hit that shot and they're about to get to cover I mean, sure, spray and see what happens, but traditionally, if you're trying to be accurate, if you've got, no matter what gun it is, you want to tap shoot in front of them and try to let them essentially run into your bullet. That's what you're trying to do here. If you're using, like I said, an ICR or a 5.56 weapon, you shoot a little bit further in front of them. If you use a rampart or another 7.62 weapon, you don't have to shoot as much in front of them. If you're using the 3.38 weapons, like the SDM, you don't have to shoot as far in front of them. And then, once again, the 50 cal ammo, you know, it's got a faster bullet speed. So you will always have to shoot in front of people if they are running, no matter which weapon you're using. But that varies depending on whether you've got a suppressor or if you're using a higher caliber weapon. Finally, I just want to talk about end game strategies and what you guys can do to win the match. So pretty much the way the safe zones work at the end is, it gets to a point where whenever the final circle is blue, the safe zone will converge and it'll basically go until it's nothing. One thing that you should never try to do is out-heal the final safe zone. I've seen people doing that and it's an easy win. You always want to try to make a push, even if it's risky. You have to try to push towards the center. So if you can, if there's some kind of cover towards the middle of the safe zone, take that cover. That is the best chance you've got. Normally, whenever you're in that kind of situation, there's only 2 or 3 people, yourself included. So normally trying to take that position is the smartest thing you can do. Because as the safe zone comes in, people are taking, you know, hits of 25 damage at once, and it makes it a lot easier for you to kill them. Never ever ever try to out-heal the safe zone at the end. I can't reiterate that enough. If you're in the final circle and people are hiding, honestly it might just be time to start throwing grenades at trees or grenades at bushes, or, you know, just generally trying to flush people out. You know, taking some shots at bushes, taking some shots where you think people might be, because more often than not people will be there. And once again, this game is pretty campy, people are a little bit scared, so you do want to, like, obviously try to flush them out. You don't want it to come down to this really tight, you really don't want it to come down to the safe zone converging with 3 people running in from the gas, because then it just becomes completely RNG. You do want to try to take people out before it gets down to a completely random finish. Another good thing for positioning the safe zone is the safe zone doesn't always go towards the center, so it's a circle and then another circle. The circle is not always in the center. The next safe zone is not always in the center of the next safe zone, if that makes sense. Sometimes it'll go to the north side. So if it's on the north side, the east and west side will be a little bit smaller, and then there'll be a big gap of area that's going to be closed in at the bottom. The area that's closed in at the bottom will close in faster than the areas around the side. Only whenever it becomes a perfect circle will the safe zone move in at the same pace. So if you can prioritize going to the slower side of the circle and moving in a little bit more slowly, that's going to help you a lot as well, because you're not going to be running away from people, and people do watch the wider part of the safe zone. And if you're the type of player who gets nervous at the end of the match, I recommend, I've said this in all of my tip videos ever, try to stay calm, take deep breaths at the end of the match, and honestly just believe that you can win, and, you know, honestly just believe that you can win and you will win. You know, trust in yourself, trust in your instincts. Like I said, if you've got a motion dart towards the end of the match, place down a motion dart. If you've got a grapple hook, grapple on top of a building. If you've got grenades, 9 bangs, prioritize using them at the end. Just try your best to be aggressive and smart, and, you know, try not to let things, you know, boil down, you know, as little as possible. Try to give yourself the best possible chance to win without, you know, making luck a factor, and you will be a lot more consistent with your wins. But if you do get nervous, if your heart's starting to race, literally hold your breath for 5 seconds and then breathe out. Hold your breath for 5 seconds and try to lower your heart rate so that you can think properly, you can think logically, and you're not going to get completely, you know, outgunned or something because you're shaking, or, you know, you're very jittery at the end. That is a huge tip for winning matches in any game, I would say. So to give you guys my opinions on which weapons are best, and my friends tell me different things, so I feel like this does come down to preference. But for the 5.56 weapons, I'm not going to talk about pistols, because who really cares about pistols, dude? Obviously for shotguns, the SG-12 fully automatic shotgun's better. But the best, I think, assault rifles is either the ICR, Vapor, or Maddox, if you're using the 5.56 weapons. Sometimes I'll run a 5.56, let's say an ICR is my personal favourite. If I find a Vapor operator, I'll swap that in for the Vapor operator, because it's got the equipped attachments, and also it's an operator weapon, meaning it's a little bit better. So I would always try to prioritize an operator weapon if it's available. Otherwise, just go for your personal favourite. But a few strategies you can run for which weapons to run is run a 7.62 weapon and a 5.56. Use your 5.56 up close, higher fire rate, and it generally works better against armour up close. And then for shooting people a little bit further away, medium to long range, use your KN or use your rampart, which pretty much nobody uses because it's complete trash. But I'll just throw that out there. If you're using a rampart, you know, use that for longer range. SDM, I think, is one of the best weapons in the game. It's a free 3-8 rifle. It can be a 2-shot kill, like 2 taps to the head, or even sometimes a tap to the head, tap to the body can kill people. I would prioritize that over an auger DMR no matter what. SDM is probably going to get nerfed, I think, because it's extremely powerful. Depending on what you want to do, you can swap it in for a paladin, 1-shot kill to the head, and it does more damage than the other rifles with less bullet drop. It is, simply put, just better than the other rifles. The only drawback to it is it's a little bit slower, but generally the paladin is your best like bolt action 1-shot kill sniper. Otherwise, take an SDM for your long range. A strategy you could run is run the shotgun, where, you know, for example, if somebody's 9-banging you and you pull out a shotgun, you can completely melt them with that fully auto shotgun. So I would consider that. If there was an option to take free weapons in the game, I definitely would take that shotgun at all times. It is very powerful, it's good for pushing buildings, and it's good for killing campers and stuff like that. So, you know, just cater to your own style. You know, if you're a long-range player, I'm more of a long-range player personally, take a sniper rifle and let's say an ICR, or a sniper rifle, or an ICR and a DMR or something like that. Or if you want to go for a close range, you know, take a shotgun. Even the SOG is a very good gun, not so much against armour, but it's probably one of the better SMGs. You really do not want to mess with SMGs and pistols at all, unfortunately, outside of early game. Without armour, they do shred, but when somebody's got armour, even the tactical cordite and stuff, it's just not worth it. I would definitely run a shotgun over those, or just take a long-range rifle instead. It really does come down to preference, but I do feel like, you know, you shouldn't really go too far out of the range of, for 5.56, either ABR, SER, Maddox, or Vapor. I would not use the Rampart, would not use pistols, would not use SMGs. Maybe consider using all of the snipers, the Koshka, the Paladin, or definitely the 2 better sniper rifles, and maybe a DMR. It really does come down to your own personal preference, but just as a rule of thumb, just try to stick to those weapons if possible. Otherwise, just mix and match and, you know, have your own playstyle. So that's about a 20-minute video, guys. Hopefully this helped you guys out a lot. If it did, be sure to leave a like. Let me know what your best tips are for Blackout, what you guys think I missed and stuff like that. I would be interested to hear in the comments below. Once again, guys, much love, I do appreciate it. If you guys are brand new to the channel, subscribe, leave a thumbs up on the video, and do turn on that notification bell if you want to see my live streams on Blackout. I think we're on 20 solo wins now, our highest kill win's 14, so we're definitely going for that 15 to 20 kill mark. Hopefully I will be getting that quite soon. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been King Plays, good luck and peace out.
Drop it. It's okay to say that we expect. It's Hoodie Allen. What up, Marina? You know how we do. They telling me to take the safe route. This is the detour. Hoodie, baby, you ain't seen a kid like this before him. Late night shooting for the moon like Warren. Them hits